Good morning, boys. Today we are going to discuss our fifth chapter, Soldiers of Defense. Beginning of this chapter, we can see a picture. What do you see in this picture? People wearing protective mask. Nowadays, it is very common. Everybody wearing protective mask. What is the use of wearing protective mask? Mask prevent the entry of germs into our body. Masks are additional equipment. Our body itself has a defense mechanism to prevent the entry of germs and destroy already entered germs. Defense mechanism of our body is divided into two, that are body covering and secretions and body fluids. Body covering and secretions include skin, mucus membrane, saliva, tears, etc. And body fluids, blood and lymph. First we studied about body covering, that is skin. Skin is a protective covering of body. It acts as a safety shield to prevent the entry of germs. The outer covering of skin is called epidermis. There is a special kind of protein present in that, keratin. These keratin prevent the entry of the germs. Now move downwards. There is a gland called sebaceous gland. Sebaceous gland secrete sebum. It makes the skin oily and waterproof. It also prevents the entry of the germs. Now move downwards. There is a gland called sweat gland. It secretes sweat. Sweat itself contains disinfectants to destroy the germs. These are the mechanisms present in the skin to prevent the entry of the germs. Now we move to the mucous membrane. Mucous membrane is another protective covering. Mucous membrane secretes mucus. It is a slimy fluid. Pathogen try to enter is get trapped in the mucus and destroyed. These destroyed germs are expelled out by the cilia cells present in the mucous membrane. The destroyed germs are expelled out by the cilia cells present in the mucous membrane. In addition to this, the covering of body acts as habitat for many useful bacteria. Many useful bacteria are live in our skin without harming ourselves. Any other germs try to enter our body need to compete with the useful bacteria for their shelter and nutrient. Any other pathogen try to enter our body should battle with the bacteria live in our skin. A great number of bacteria or germs are destroyed during this battle. So, the useful bacteria leave our skin also provide protection against pathogens. Sweat and mucus or secretions destroy the germs. In our body, there are other secretions secreted by different parts of the body destroy the germs. They are listed in this diagram. Earwax present in the ear destroy germs, and the lysozyme in the tears and saliva and urine destroys germs. Mucus in the nose, trachea and intestine destroy germs. A highly concentrated acid present in the stomach, that is hydrochloric acid, destroy the germs present in the stomach. These are the other secretions which destroy pathogens, they try to enter different parts of our body. We move to the second phase of defense mechanism. Body fluids and lymph plays an important role in this phase. They follow three steps. They control the entry of germs into our body. First one, they control the entry of germs into our body. Second one, they neutralize germs and toxic substance they produce. Second, they neutralize germs and toxic substance they produce. Third one, prevent the multiplication of pathogen in our body. They prevent the multiplication of pathogen in our body. In body fluid, white blood cells are mainly involved in the defense mechanism. We have 5 types of white blood cells. They play significant role in the defense mechanism. They are neutrophil, basophil, eosinophil, monocyte and lymphocyte. What are the roles played by these white blood cells? First we take neutrophil. It engulfs bacteria. That means it swallows the bacteria and synthesize chemical that destroy bacteria, and also it synthesizes some chemical substance to destroy the bacteria. Now move the second type of white blood cell is basophil. It stimulates other white blood cells. It stimulates other white blood cells and dilate the blood vessel. It also dilate the blood vessel and facilitate free movement of white blood cells to reach the site of the pathogen try to enter our body. Third one, eosinophil. Eosinophil synthesize some chemical substance that destroy foreign bodies, and it also synthesize some chemical required for inflammatory response. Inflammatory response means when a wound occurs, some pathogen try to enter. These eosinophil produce some chemical substance when inflammatory response is occur. And the fourth one is monocyte. Monocyte engulf and destroy the germs. The last one, but the important one is lymphocyte. It identify, destroy the germs specifically. That means it remember the pathogen and it destroy the pathogen specifically. That is the function of lymphocyte. These are the white blood cells mainly involved in the defense mechanism. Inflammatory response. We know that our body is covered by skin. Skin does not allow any pathogen to enter our body. When a wound is occur, the skin part is removed from that area. Some pathogen try to enter through wound. Our body has a special mechanism to identify this. That is called inflammatory response. When a wound is occur, the damaged cell produce some chemical substance. It dilate blood capillaries. Damaged cell produce some chemical substance that dilate blood capillary. When the blood capillaries dilate, the increased flow of white blood cells takes place. These white blood cells reach the site. It make the swelling in the wounded site. That is called inflammatory response. This inflammatory response is well explained in this video.
Skin acts as a fort against pathogen. What happens when a wound occurs? Pathogens try to enter the body through the wound. Then the defense mechanism of the body gets vigilant. As the first step, blood vessels around the wound gets dilated. Blood flow to the affected region increases. More number of WBCs reach the affected area. Blood vessels when dilates, small pores on its walls also expands. Thus, more number of WBC reach the wounded site through these pores. The WBC engulfs and destroys the pathogens.
Phagocytosis means a cell engulf or destroying germs. The cells involved in phagocytosis is called phagocyte. The cells involved in phagocytosis is called phagocytes. Phagocytosis means phago to engulf, cyte cell. A cell involved to engulf another cell or pathogen is called phagocytosis. This phagocytosis is exhibited by amoebas, some white blood cells. In the case of white blood cells like monocyte and neutrophil involved in phagocytosis. If the monocyte and neutrophil involved in phagocytosis is called phagocytes. When a pathogen enters to our body, this neutrophil or monocyte exhibit phagocytosis. Phagocytosis follow the following step. When a pathogen come near to the phagocyte, it forms a small membranous sac suitable for the pathogen. The pathogen enter into the membranous sac. It is moved inside the cytoplasm where there is a cell organelle called lysosome. In the lysosome, there is a strong enzyme which can destroy the germs. This lysosome attaches with the membranous sac. Then what happened? The pathogen degenerated and destroyed by the action of enzymes in the lysosome. This is why this phagocyte approaches the pathogen and destroy. Now you can watch the video of phagocytosis.
Blood has several functions. One such function is defense against diseases. Blood contains red blood cells and white blood cells. White blood cells play a major role in defending diseases. Some white blood cells destroy pathogens through a specific method. Example, neutrophil. When a pathogen reaches near neutrophil, it gradually encircles the pathogen and engulfs the pathogen in the membrane sac. Lysosome of the neutrophil combines with the membrane sac. The pathogens are degenerated and destroyed by the enzymes in the lysosome. This process of engulfing and destroying germs is called phagocytosis.
Blood clotting. Blood clotting is a defense mechanism. It prevents entry of pathogen into our body. When a wound is occur, a lot of blood lost through bleeding. Our body has special mechanism to prevent this. The blood clotting involve different steps. The steps involved in the blood clotting are tissues and platelets present at the site of wound degenerated to form an enzyme called thromboplastin. The tissues and platelet at the site of wound degenerated to form the enzyme called thromboplastin. It is the first step, formation of enzyme thromboplastin. The enzyme thromboplastin combines with prothrombin in the plasma. Thromboplastin and prothrombin combine to form thrombin. It needs calcium and vitamin K. That is why calcium and vitamin K are important in the case of blood clotting. This thrombin combined with fibrinogen. Thrombin combines with fibrinogen to form fibrin fibers. These fibrin fibers are thread-like structure. They are microscopic thread. They together to form a network. The threads of fibrin fibers together to form network. In this network, at the site of wound, the red blood cells and platelet get entangled. In the network, red blood cells and platelets get entangled. Then it forms a blood clot. Blood clotting helps to prevent the bleeding and loss of blood. Also, it prevents the entry of pathogen. This blood clotting is the first step for wound healing. Wound healing takes place after the blood clotting.
When wound occurs, blood clotting takes place within a short period of time. This is a life-saving activity to prevent the loss of excess blood from the body. Blood clotting is a chemical process. Tissues and platelets at the site of the wound degenerate to form the enzyme called thromboplastin. Thromboplastin converts prothrombin in plasma to thrombin in the presence of calcium ions. Thrombin converts fibrinogen to fibrin fibers. The red blood cells and platelets get entangled in the network of fibrin fibers to form the blood clot. Blood clot prevents the loss of blood through the wound.
Wound healing. Wound healing takes place after inflammatory response and blood clot. After the inflammatory response and blood clot, wound healing takes place. New similar tissues formed at the place of damaged or lost tissues in the wound. There is no scar or marking occur. If new similar tissues are not formed, wound is healed by connective tissues. If the wound is healed by connective tissue, there is the presence of scar or marking. Wound healing is slowed down by the action of pathogen. If infection is occur, the time duration taken for wound healing increases. But our body has strong defense mechanism. This strong defense mechanism accelerate wound healing. Normal body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. This is converted into Fahrenheit. It is 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit is the unit commonly used in clinically. What happens if the body temperature rises above the normal level? It is called fever. Fever is a defense mechanism. Fever occurs when pathogen enter to our body. What are the steps involved in fever is listed in this flowchart. Pathogen enter the body. These pathogens produce toxic substance. This toxic substance stimulate white blood cells. The toxic substance produced by pathogen stimulate white blood cells. Then the white blood cells produce some chemical substance which is responsible for rise in body temperature. White blood cells produce some chemical substance that is responsible for rise in body temperature. When body temperature rises, it will reduce the rate of multiplication of pathogen which is already entered in our body. So, body temperature rises above the normal level. It reduces the rate of multiplication of pathogen in our body. And it also increases the effect of phagocytosis. Phagocytosis also takes place very effectively when temperature rises above the normal level. Fever is not a disease. It is a symptom of disease. Fever is not a disease. Why do we take medicine for fever? If the infection becomes uncontrollable, our body temperature rises tremendously. The rise in body temperature persists for long time. It will affect our internal organs like brain. So it is necessary to find out the exact reason for our fever and take medical assistance. Now watch the video related to fever.
Pathogens enter the body through air, water, body contact, etc., overcoming the natural defense mechanisms of the body. Pathogens enters blood and multiplies there. These pathogens stimulate the white blood cells of the blood. Stimulated white blood cells produce some chemical substances. These specific chemicals rises the body temperature. The patient shows the symptoms of fever. Rise in temperature reduces the rate of multiplication of pathogens. Phagocytes engulf the pathogens and destroys them. The level of chemicals gradually decreases and the body temperature becomes normal. This is how fever becomes a defense mechanism. The activities related to fever can be consolidated as follows. Pathogens enter the body. The presence of toxins produced by the pathogens stimulate the white blood cells. The chemical substances produced by the white blood cells raises the body temperature. The rise in body temperature reduces the rate of multiplication of pathogens. This increases the effect of phagocytosis.